Now, we're going to begin today's session with an exercise. Turn to the next page. One characteristic of an outstanding leader, an outstanding professional in any field, is you believe in yourself. You demonstrate a sense of self-confidence, and you act like you deserve to be in the job. Another characteristic is you are good at assessment, assessing the performance of people and of situations. We are going to begin today's session with a performance assessment exercise. I am going to have you assess the performance of a person you know very well. Who's that person? Yourself. Relative to a group of people you would define as your professional peers. Who are your professional peers? That would be other professionals in your organization or comparable leading organizations doing work that is parallel to the work you're doing. In your case, you've got a regular job, and that would be those people. If you're not in an organization, obviously you can't do that comparison. We're going to look at your potential with your professional peers. That would be other MBA students perhaps sitting in similar rooms to this and other comparable leading organizations, other leading universities. And I'm going to ask you, how do you think you compare with them? Now, I need to borrow your pencil for a second. And we're going to begin the question with an exercise. The first question is going to be, in looking at your performance or potential, how many of you would rank yourself in the top 2% of your professional peer group? I'm going to ask you all to raise your hands. Then I'm going to ask how many think you might be in the top 5, and you will raise your hands. The top 10, the top 20, the top 30, the top 50, and finally, how many of you are in this group known as other? And you'll raise your hands. And by the time I get done, everyone in the room should have your hands up. Has anybody been in a current job 1 year or less? Raise your hands. In your case, you may choose to think of a previous job. If you're brand new in a job, either look at your potential or think of a previous job. It may not be fair to assess your performance in a job if you are brand new. Does everyone understand the exercise? Now, this is an exercise I have done with over 50,000 people. When you get done, I'll tell you how you compare with doctors, lawyers, FBI agents, Jesuit priests, and all kinds of other interesting individuals. Are we ready to begin? A couple of you look a little uneasy. This exercise has the potential to be a little embarrassing. Some of you are thinking, wait a minute. I'm in the top 2, but I got to see these people all the time. I'm not going to raise my hand, look like I'm bragging, look like I'm showing off. Some of you are thinking, I'm in the other category, but the school don't know it. I don't know. Public announcement, I'm in other category. This guy must be crazy. This exercise has the potential to be just a tad embarrassing. And one quality of an outstanding leader is commitment to your customers. And for a couple of hours today, who are my good customers? People in this room. And the last thing I'd like to do is come in and embarrass my good customers by doing this exercise. So we have come across a foolproof technique to avoid embarrassment when doing this exercise. Before I ask any of you to raise your hands, you will all be asked to close your eyes. Now, when I say close your eyes, I want to see those eyes closed. I don't want to see any peering around the room. And if any of you do open your eyes, I will single you out and publicly call your name out to the group. All right. Now, one other rule. Everybody has to raise your hand sometime. Once you raise your hand, leave it up, because I count as I go. So once you raise your hand, let's say you raise it at 2, don't lower it, because I count as I go. And if you lower your hands, it just screws up my counting. Okay, is everybody ready? Close your eyes. Close your eyes, close your eyes, close your eyes, close your eyes. We're walking up there. Sit down. Close your eyes, please. Close your eyes. Although you have glasses, I can see your eyes are still open. Relative to your professional peers, how many of you would rank yourself in the top, either performance or potential, in the top 2% of your professional peer group? Raise your hands and leave them up. Okay, leave them up and let me count. Do not lower your hands for the whole exercise. Let me count. The top 2 or 5. Please raise your hands. The top 2 or 5. Very good. Let's leave those hands up. Do not lower your hands for the entire exercise. The top 2, 5, or 10. Top 2, 5, or 10. That would be very nice. Thank you. Leave them up. Do not lower your hands. The top 2, 5, 10, or 20. Everyone in the top 20%, please raise your hands. And do not lower them once they go. Quit looking. I see you over there with the glasses. Close your eyes. I've caught you. All right, the top 2, 5, 10, or 20. Well, let me guess. Okay, very good. About the top 2, 5, 10, 20, or 30. That's good. Anyone in the top half? Okay. And any others? Okay, you can all lower your hands. And you can open your eyes. And I may not have this exactly right, but I should be very close. I don't like to speak to a group without doing research, and I've just done some research on the people in this room. And what I've learned, amazingly, 50% of you are in the top 5% of your professional peer group. Approximately 80% in the top 10, roughly 90% in the top 20, about 94% in the top 30, 97%. No, I think everyone in the room is in the top half of your professional peer group. What have I learned about you as a group so far? What have I learned? You're in the top half. No, I have not learned you're in the top half. That is the wrong answer. Let's try again. What have I learned?
We all think we're in the top.
You think you're great. What have I learned about you as a group? I've learned one thing. You think you're great. Now, I always do this exercise with every group I work with. And the scores are always ridiculously inflated like yours. Only normally when I do the exercise, I have something called 360-degree feedback on everyone in the room. This is feedback from all of your coworkers. And the scores always look this way. And you know what I tell the executives I work with? I say, I've learned one thing. You think you're great. Then I say, but surprise, I have feedback from your coworkers. Then I say, I have more good news. You think you are great, and your coworkers agree. You think you're great, and they agree. They agree that you think you're great. Now, are the people in this room the most conceited group of human beings I've ever met in my entire life? Close. I've actually worked with worse. I want you to yell out the name of any occupation, any profession who thinks they're great. You yell their name out, and I probably work with them. I will tell you how you compare with them. Who thinks they're great? Medical doctors. Excellent guess. Who else? Bankers. Lawyers. Athletes. Politicians. Who else? Consultants. Who said that? There's always one wise guy in the audience, right? Consultants thinks they're great, okay? Who else thinks they're great? Entertainers, okay? Anybody else? Professors, of course. Well, let's talk about how you compare with some other groups. I will begin with groups who are more realistic in their self-assessment. Many of these will surprise you. The first one is athletes. Athletes are actually far more realistic in their self-assessment, especially individual athletes. If you are a pro golfer or a pro tennis player, do you know how you compare with your professional peers? How often do you find out? Every week. If you're a pro boxer, lie on your back, look up, see lights. Didn't win, right? Athletes are more realistic. Salespeople are more realistic. They have a bottom line, they have a quota, they are compared to other salespeople. You walk in the office to see them rank ordered on the wall. The next one will shock you. Politicians are more realistic. I did this with the National Conference of State Legislators here in the States, the head of the House and the Senate from the 50 states. I thought they'd all say they were in the top two. They were significantly more conservative than business leaders in their self-assessment. I said, that's shocking. Almost all business leaders think politicians are conceited. Why do you think your scores are more realistic? When the senator said, we have an experience every few years business leaders do not have. An election. He said, if you have to shake hands and kiss babies like we do, we act big on the outside. On the inside, we're one of the most insecure groups of people you would ever want to meet. And those of you who are a little older may remember there was a man in the United States named Gary Hart who ran for president. This happened right after something called the monkey business fiasco. He was supposed to be president of the United States 1 week. 3 weeks later, he was gone. Politicians, a little bit different. Business leaders in general, approximately 85% of all business leaders rank themselves in the top 20% of their professional peer group. And the performance of the company has absolutely nothing to do with the self-assessment of its leaders. I've done this in 4 companies were ranked as the most admired company in the United States, 85% top 20. 2 companies on the 10 least admired list, 85% top 20. Companies making record profits, 85% top 20. Companies going bankrupt, 85% top 20. Makes no difference.